What's good, guys? It's your boy Mac Mason, and I'm back at it again with another video, baby. Hey, doing a little dance. Y'all know I love you doing my little dances. Well, what's good, guys? I hope every night you're treating every day like a holiday and every meal like a feast. I totally F that up. But as always, I hope you guys are living to the fullest. But we're continuing on to my second deck profile ever. So it's gonna be lit. And of course, as you know by the title, we're actually gonna do E-Heroes today. I love my elemental heroes. If I could, I don't know, be friends with somebody from the Yugi world, Jaden would be my guy. Like, Jaden Yuki is my man's. But that's besides the point. Besides the fact that I'm like a super fangirl, this deck actually can, it could play a little bit in the meta, despite the fact that, you know, there's such big fat cards. Now, there's two ways to run an elemental hero deck. There are two ways. Now, I'm only going to go over one way. And that's just because I don't have a deck built for the second way. I only have the one way. You get what I'm trying to say. So essentially, this style of deck I made is what I like to call a stall and burn deck. So what you want to do with this version of Elemental Hero deck is stall your opponents for as long as you can so you can get your big, fat, juicy, beautiful, super duper uber strong Elemental Hero fusion cards out onto the field. Now, I don't run any mask change. I should definitely be running at least a couple Destiny heroes, but I mean, I'm a fangirl. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go out and say it. I'm a fangirl, and this is what it's gonna be. So we're gonna start off with the monsters. So when we're talking monsters, I think the most important thing to have in the deck is you want to have synergy. In any deck, actually, you want to have deck synergy. So that's why I run 3 Elemental Hero Captain Golds. Now these are some bad mamma jammas. Now they have 2100 attack, but the issue with them, and they have 0 defense. But the issue with these guys is they can't be on the field unless you have a Skyscraper, which means any Skyscraper. So I mean, Skyscraper's a great card to have in general, but they also, when you discard them, allow you to grab a Skyscraper. Any Skyscraper you want. As long as it's a Skyscraper card, you can grab it. So that's one reason why I absolutely love Elemental Hero Captain Gold. And when I get to the latter part of this video, you guys will understand why I call that a bad mamma jam. Now, these next two I'm just going to introduce together because they're not necessarily quintessential for the deck, but you can definitely put them in there. You can run without them. And I put Elemental Hero Ice Edge, and we also have Elemental Hero Neos. Now the reason why I have Neos is for one specific purpose. My camera's over there, I'm effing up. But the reason why I have a Neos is for one specific purpose. And that is to fusion summon him with Blade Edge. I'm effing up. I need to put like a light right here because this is like dark. What's that? Oh, there we go. I figured it out. Ignore my whatever's going on in my, I can't even figure out which way is which way. But ignore whatever's going on in the background. Blade Edge plus Elemental Hero Neos. When they fusion summon, you can summon Elemental Hero Neos card. That is dope. And when I get to my fusion cards, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. But the reason why I run Ice Edge, it's because I don't run too many of the R for Righteous Justice. I mean, it's a really good card to have, don't get me wrong, but the issue with R is if you have, like, let's say you have 4 elemental heroes on the field and they only have 2 trap cards, well, you can't play it unless you destroy some of your own stuff, but that's only if you have something in your spell and trap card zone. But why would you want to destroy your own cards unless it was something like, yeah, I gotta destroy my own card. So this guy's kind of good to have in your hand. You can discard, chain him with Necro Shade, throw Necro Shade in the graveyard, so you can normal summon Blade Edge or normal summon Elemental Hero Neos, no problem. Moving on to these next bad mamma jammas. Elemental Hero Ocean and Elemental Hero Woodsman. Now these are some bad mamma jammas, and I'm just going to keep using that throughout the video because I feel like bad mamma jammas is just going to be you know what, shut up. So Elemental Hero Ocean allows you to grab one of your hero monsters from the graveyard and return that target to the hand. Like, what? So you're telling me I can, if I have 2 polys in my hand, I can poly summon one monster and use with this guy during the standby phase. So next turn, with this card's on the field, I can grab one of those bad boys and put it back in my hand and fusion summon again. Hell yeah. But Elemental Hero Woodsman definitely helps out with a lot with the synergy. Now, these cards don't have a lot of attack, but chained with Skyscraper, they can definitely be formidable. You can grab a Poly using Woodsman on every standby phase, and they go hand in hand. On top of that, they fuse into each other and make Terra Firma. Easy win-win situation. Moving on, I'm actually going to do all of these bad Mamma Jammas together because they're classic as hell and I love them. We got Bubble Man, Spark Man, Burstinatrix, Avian, Clayman, and finally Wild Heart. Now these, these are like some stuff I used to love running back in the day, boy. Let me tell you, I was like, And you know what? I think I'm starting to use Bad Mamma Jamma. It's just like she's a bad Mamma Jamma. You feel me? It's kind of like, it's old feeling. You know what I'm saying? It's old. So that's why I'm kind of running it right now. But that's you know, that's just one thing I do in the deck. Is, I mean, you gotta have fun with Yu-Gi-Oh, right? But so these Bad Mamma Jammas, I run them. You can't run without them. Like well, okay. For argument's sake, you could run without Wild Heart, but why would you? So you guys know those cards. I'm not even gonna. There's no point in going over them. They're necessary. Let's just be real. Now, one Prisma. The only reason why I have one is because I only have one in general, and I need to go buy some more because I love this card so much, and I would just go on many dates with Prisma, and me and Prisma could, like, I don't know, get hitched, fall in love, all that good stuff. Totally joking, but Prisma has a dope effect. You can reveal one of your fusion cards, like, I don't know, maybe Elemental Hero Electrum, and any one of those fusion material monsters you could throw in your graveyard. Well, if you have a warrior returning alive, add that bad boy back to the hand. That's if they're a warrior. Well, you know, most elemental heroes are, but there are like pyros, there's some aquas, and there's a whole lot of stuff that you can do. But you throw those in the graveyard. Say you're able to do it twice, you pulled it off twice, so you went through two of your turns, and this card's name becomes that card too, which is also awesome for that specific turn. But I like to keep them on the field a little bit longer, so I try to protect them as much as I can and throw as much as I can into my graveyard so I can Miracle Fusion Elemental Hero Electrum. Because what happens is, like, say I get my, so it looks like I have Bubble Man, Avian, Burstinatrix, Clayman in my graveyard, Miracle Fusion them, Fusion Summon Electrum. Once Electrum's on the field, all of those banished cards in your graveyard you can add back to your deck and shuffle it. So you can see why I want to keep that bad boy out on the field. These two are put together obviously because they go hand in hand. Elemental Hero Heat and Elemental Hero Lady Heat. Now, I like these two cards a lot, especially if you want to chip away at your opponent's life points without having to attack. Lady Heat's your gal. Also, it kind of gives you a little bit more that you can do with you know, these cards in general, because with the addition of these two and the deck that I run, there's only 3 cards that are fire attribute, which is important when I show you my fusion deck. You'll see what I'm saying. But these cards are very good cards to have in your deck. Obviously, I would run them. I can't imagine. Well, you know, I've seen a lot of decks without them. You could definitely run without them and definitely still have a successful deck. But I don't know. I'm just not. It's cool. It's alright. You know what I'm saying? It's alright. Necroshade, what I was talking about previously. It's a very specific card. You don't necessarily need him for too many of the fusions, but it's nice to have in your deck if you don't have any options. For example, you have a Blade Edge in your hand, nothing else in your hand, nothing on the field, because your opponent's been destroying your cards non-stop. Well, Necroshade moves to the top of your graveyard, and you can normal summon that Elemental Hero Blade Edge, and you can have some defense, which is dope. Blade Edge with 2600 attack, it's not a bad thing to have on the field, and it does piercing damage. Well, I F with it. And finally, for my monsters, I have King of the Swamp. King of the Swamps can definitely be traded out for some other cards. Obviously, there's like other substitution cards that you can use, but this one I mess with the most because it has the option to grab a poly as well. So you can discard this and grab a poly, and then say I let this be my water monster in the graveyard. Use Miracle Fusion. Easy. I have Absolute Zero out on the field. Cake sauce. Next up, we have our trap cards. Now, this is like the crux of this deck, is because it's important to stall and burn, and that's just because in this deck it's fast but it's slow. If you don't get the cards that you need up front, it's going to be hard, especially if you don't have the first turn. If you don't have the first turn, it's going to be really hard to run this deck in general, just because of the meta per se. But even still, it has a lot of recovery with this deck. That's why I really like the Elemental Heroes, because they always back each other up, and that's what it's about, being a team, being a hero. First up, we got Karma Cut. Simple. I like to banish stuff. I like to banish people who have multiple cards in their deck. So like for example, maybe your opponent's running a cubic deck, and you need to get rid of that 3,000 beater that takes 3,000 of your life points every turn. Yeah, I'm banishing that card and then banishing everyone I put in the graveyard, so you can't get those bad boys back. Let's be real. Dimensional Prism, also important, especially if you're going up a Melodious deck. You will hear me talk about a Melodious like fusion card so much because I effing hate Melodious fusion cards. Because you can't destroy them, you can't destroy them using card effects or battle. And in fact, if she battles a special summon monster, okay, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Next up is Hero Signal. Like I said, they back each other up. You destroy one elemental hero monster on my side of the field, I activate this bad boy, and I whip out another one, special summon the homie. Even if he's destroyed, even if that monster's destroyed, I still have 2 of my fusion materials in my graveyard, so I can Miracle Fusion if I draw one on my next draw. So the point of my deck style is to thin out using Prisma and a lot of my traps and spell cards as much as possible to thin out all of the monsters, so I'm just pulling spell and trap cards. And that's why I call it a stall and burn. Well, that's one reason why I call it stall and burn. Next up, Draining Shield. Stall. Perfect for stalling. Windstorm Etiqua. I love to stall with this card. Change the battle positions of all face-up monster on your opponent's side of the field. Face-down defense. You thought you was somebody, but you're not. Mirror Force is up next. I F with Mirror Force. Just 1. I mean, come on. You don't need 3. And Quaking's really good. I mean, you could definitely substitute it for Quaking. You don't even necessarily have to have a Mirror Force in this deck, but for the sense of nostalgia, I ran it. I love Mirror Force. Come on, let's be real. Dust Tornado, because like I said before, I don't run too many of the Righteous Justice cards, so it's important for me to have cards to get rid of face-up spell and trap cards on the field, or even face down. Bottomless Trap Hole. Now, if I could lick this card, I would. Okay, I'm sorry, that was a little too weird. I apologize, but I love this card. Plain and simple. Banish a monster when it's normal summon. I mean, sure, its effects still activate, but I don't know. Let's say maybe they pull out a Blue Eyes White Ultimate Dragon. You know, that's gonna get banished. That's not going to the graveyard. No, sir. That's not going to the graveyard. Or Ice Hand or Fire Hand. I guess it's just a Fire Hand. You can't do an Ice Hand because Ice Hand's 1400. But following that card is the most important trap card in this entire deck, and that's going to be Paradox Fusion. Now, Paradox Fusion is so important because your whole job of building this deck is to fusion summon and fusion summon and fusion summon and fusion summon again, until you can't fusion summon no more. But Paradox Fusion is the greatest card to have in this deck when it comes to trap cards, and that's just mainly because this card allows you to do so much. You can negate the activation of a spell or trap card, or the special summon of a monster and destroy that card. During your second end phase, return that fusion monster to the field in a face-up attack position. So chain with something like Absolute Zero, who is my man, like I have with Absolute Zero. If you pull him out on the field and then use Paradox Fusion, you destroy all your opponent's monsters, and it's just sitting in the banish zone, and then it comes back later. Like what? Like what? Come on, that's beautiful. That's what I was talking about. It's all about synergy with this style, and it's important to stall and burn for sure. You want to destroy as many of your opponent's monsters as you can, so you can get the bad boys out on the field and they can deal direct damage. So that's why my trap cards are important, and that's why I try to measure up with my monsters and stuff and such, like, you know, with my Elemental Hero Ice Edge. I mess with that card because what it does is, you know, get rid of one of the backfield, and that's important to me. But like I've been talking about so long, Righteous Justice, just one. I don't know. Me and Righteous Justice, we're sort of in an awkward point in our relationship, and I like it, but it's like I said, it has its constraints. Next up, I run 2 E's. Why not 3, Cam? Like, I bet you guys are all wondering, what the hell, Mac? What's going on, bro? Why not 3, bro? 2, because, like I said, my entire objective is to protect my Prisma and put my entire deck into the graveyard. All my monsters, just all of them in the graveyard. Discard. I have 4 cards that you can discard. You can discard to do additional effects, and even if they're in my hand, I still have the option. Of course, we have 3 poly, because yeah, 3 is what you need. I almost feel like I never get these cards. I almost never draw Polymerization. Now, I don't have any cards that search for poly, but that's just because I feel like it's unnecessary. I mean, if you have 3 poly in your deck and you're looking at a deck that's less than like 43 cards, it's like you're gonna get a poly. Just relax, calm yourself, child. And then next up, we have 3 Miracle Fusions. Now, Miracle Fusions, I've been talking about this a lot. Oh, when I show you my fusion deck, oh, you understand why this is my favorite spell card in the E-Hero, like, archetype. This is it. Straight up. But I run this card for fun, of course, which is Skydive Scorcher. Now, I'm not sure if a lot of you guys are absolutely sure what Skydive Scorcher does. I don't even think you can see it like this. Maybe if I like flip it up. But Skydive Scorcher is a dope card. Target 1 Elemental Hero Fusion monster you control. Destroy as many of your opponent's monsters as possible with attack higher than that monster's. Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the highest original attack among those destroyed monsters in the graveyard of your choice if tied. If a Skyscraper field spell is on your field zone, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the combined original attack of those destroyed monsters in the graveyard instead. What? I mean, you could definitely load up this deck with Skydive Scorchers and run it, but it's going to slow it down a lot. And if you were to do that, I would definitely take out some of the monsters. Like I said, I love these cards, and my objective is to get them out of my deck, and either on the field, in the graveyard, or in my hand. One of the two. Now, next up, I decided to separate these from my actual spell cards. I'm going to do field cards next. Now, I love my Elemental Hero field cards. Like, let's be real. Fusion Gate, can't go wrong. Just one. That's all you need. Because you don't want to banish too many of your Elemental Heroes, because you're going to be wanting to banish them from the graveyard using using Miracle Fusion. And Miracle Fusion is such a dope card anyway. It's like you can poly and then Miracle Fusion, and then you have like a field. Like it's nothing. Next up, I have 2 Skyscrapers. Now, I know you guys are wondering why not 3, and I'll tell you why. Because I run a Skyscraper 2 Hero City, just one. Now, I have, in my deck, I have 3 cards that can search for any Skyscraper that I have in my entire deck. What's the point of me having 4 Skyscrapers or 5 or 6? There's no point. I can search my deck as much as I want and grab the Skyscraper that I want for that specific moment. Even if I were to draw another Captain Gold, I would definitely use the homie. Homie Skyscraper too. You can special summon, that's dope, all that good stuff. Now I'm gonna go kind of out of order. I'm gonna do my side deck next. So I have one Avian and one Elemental Hero Ocean, followed by one Warrior Returning Alive, Rottweiler, just a decent card to have. Book of Moon, great card to have. Reinforcement of the Army. Now I took this out, like I said previously, because not all of the elemental heroes are warrior types. There are some that are not warrior types, so it's, you know, it's give or take there. And finally, I have Parallel World Fusion. Now a lot of people might be wondering, why not run this in your deck at all? Like, why would you not have like one or two in your deck? Well, I'll tell you why. Because of what I have in my extra deck. I'll leave it at that. I'll show you guys what I try to get out on the field. Also, sorry, I actually missed a couple here. For fusion cards, you know, Elemental Hero, Shining Flame Wingman, good card. Rampart, it's okay. Thunder Giant, it's okay. Elemental Hero Tempest, decent card. Elemental Hero Flame Wingman, only in your deck if you're gonna run like equip spells. Let's be real, because 2100, it's like 2100. Let's be real. It's like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. It's alright. You know what I'm saying? It's alright. Like it's cool. Like I can see why you do it. You feel me? But that's it. So moving on, we're gonna move on to my favorite part, is the fusion cards, and who absolutely does not love the fusion cards in this deck. Like I said, first one up, Elemental Hero Electrum. Use your Miracle Fusion. Put all of these into the Banished Zone and put them back into your deck. That's what I'm trying to say. Next up, I actually run two Gaia, and this is only if I get in trouble. Like I run these just because I get in trouble. There's a lot of Earth monsters in the deck that just don't have a place without another specified card. So I feel like it's important to have at least two Gaias. And if you're not gonna run two Gaias, maybe one Gaia and a Vision Hero Adoration. I love that card, plain and simple. That it's beautiful. I just don't have a copy of it in my hand, or I should say I don't have a physical copy of it. I usually run it in my online decks, which I will show you guys at some point as well, because in those decks I have a lot more Xyz, I have a lot more Synchros and all that good stuff, so I have all that jazz in there, so I'll show you guys that later. Next up, Elemental Hero Inferno, just because in case you get Lady Heat and a Hero Heat and they're just not going to be enough damage, it's good to have one of these guys in there. I mean, yeah, it's a decent attack, but it's whatever. And it's like you have Hero Heat and Lady Heat on the field. It's like you're dealing not that much damage in the first place, so it's whatever. Now I don't really summon this card too often, but I do run Elemental Hero Wild Wingman. In fact, I don't think I've ever summoned this card, so to speak, but I love this card. I mean, it's cool. It's cool because you can destroy spell and trap cards on the field. Like I said, a lot of cards on this deck do not do that. Now, one of my other decks, which I'll be doing a profile on later, oh my gosh, I destroy the entire field and then I keep it pushing. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. Now, I run Elemental Heroes Dark Bright, Elemental Hero Dark Bright, just because, I mean, it's not something I play too often because it's hard to get a Sparkman and a Necroshade in your hand at the same time unless you're searching for it purposefully. But I just have this in here just as filler, just in case I need something out on the field. You know, it's not that serious. But now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty and get to some of my favorite cards in the deck. So what I was mentioning before, Elemental Hero Neos Knight. So you fusion summon this bad boy with Elemental Hero Neos and Elemental Hero Blade Edge. You have a monster with like what, 3,500 attack, and it's just like it halves that attack. So it was a 26, so 13, so 38. It gets 3,800 attack right off the bat. So it has 3,800. That's a good card to have. Like, what you mean? Like, what you mean, guys? Like, that's the one. Plasma Vice. I don't summon it too often. Let's be real, but I like this card. You can destroy monsters on the field. You can get rid of some of your opponent's field pretty easily with that card, but it obviously has to be less than 2600 attack, which sucks, but it's all good. Terra Firma, I just have one. A lot of people run 3 of these in their deck. 2, in fact, I'm probably the only person I know that I've seen an elemental hero deck run and it just be 1 Terra Firma, or it's either you have a bunch of Terra Firmas or you have 0 Terra Firmas. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. And the reason why I have this in here is because I used to run 2 Elemental Hero Oceans and 2 Woodsmen, and I was trying to get this card out on the field until I found out about some other cards I could run, and they just make it more fun. You contribute 1 face-up Elemental Hero monster to have this card gain attack equal to the attributed monster's attack until the end phase. Like I said, it's a decent card to have. Like, I mean, you definitely run it. Now, we're getting to my creme de la creme, my beautiful, all that good stuff. Elemental Hero Nova Master. I know you see him in a plastic bag, but I gotta keep him right, you feel me? So just 1 Elemental Hero monster and 1 Fire monster. Like I said, there's 3 or 4 Fire monsters in the entire deck, and sometimes you're just not gonna have the fusion that you want to have fused and meet up and all that good stuff. But when this card destroys a monster, you get to draw a card. Psh, plain and simple. That card's effing great. It's great. Next up, Absolute Zero. This is the one we were talking about before, when you can chain with Paradox Fusion, destroy all of your opponent's monsters on the field, and keep it pushing at the same time. It has 2500 attack, so it's a solid beater, but it's not the best thing that I have in my fusion deck. Now, I love this card, absolutely, and if I could, I probably would run 2 if I had the gall, but I really don't have that many water monsters. King of the Swamp I added just to do that. It's like I have, and I think that was also why I ran 2 of the Elemental Hero Oceans. And at one point I was running 2 Elemental Hero Oceans and 1 Woodsman, and that was like my run. And I was also running, King of the Swamp and some other water cards. Bubble Man, for example. There's a few in there, but you want to get this bad boy out on the field. Let's be real. Now, 2 Elemental Hero Great Tornadoes. God, I love this card. I love this card. Ooh, it's the one I love running so much. And you wouldn't believe it, I got it for 30 cents. Both of them 30 cents. I was like, what? And they're like rares too, so I was like, what? But it has 2800 attack, right? Solid beater, straight up. It's a decent beater. But when this card is fusion summoned, all monsters on your opponent's side of the field's attacks are halved. Every single one of them. That is just so dope, because that's just how, that's just how it should be. Like, it's a beater that beats everybody else's attack down, so you can attack freely. And it's not until the end of the turn, it's forever. So it's like, I'm sorry, unless they have something to take it off the field, add it back to their hand, and then resummon it, they're going to be on the field and they're going to be taking some serious damage. Next up is the crux of my card, the creme de la creme, the dulce de leche, whatever you want to call it, is the Elemental Hero, the Shining. And I run 2 of these. Now, the reason why I run 2 instead of 3 is just because I wanted to have a second Great Tornado if I ever get into that situation, which is also why in my side deck I have an additional Avian. Now, to get this bad boy out on the field, you just need 1 Elemental Hero monster and a light monster. Now, you're probably wondering, like, oh, well, I mean, how many of the Elemental Heroes are light monsters? There are 7 or 8 in the deck that I'm running. 3 Captain Golds, 1 Prisma. I got a lot for sure. So actually, I can tell you right now. Even some of the fusion cards. Prisma, so we got Prisma, like I said. Sparkman. Elemental Hero Neos, and then 3 Captain Gold. So about 6 or 7. This monster gains 300 attack for every monster with Elemental Hero in its name in the banished zone. So it's just one of those cards that's just like, oh, like the highest I've gotten this card is 5600 at one point. Oh, I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. And Whew. Actually, you know what? I think one time I got it up to 6K or 6,600. But oh my gosh, it starts off at 26, which doesn't seem like a lot. Obviously, if somebody's running like a breakthrough skill, it can be problematic, or anything to destroy something when you summon it, when you ban it, like when you attack, a negate attack, anything could really just stop, this card, because it doesn't really have a way to protect itself. But you always have Skyscraper 2, Hero City, or you have the regular Skyscraper. So say breakthrough skill happens and I'm not able to kill, I don't know, a monster with 2700 attack, and I'm forced to end my turn. I gain my attack points back at the end of the turn. During their turn, they're still in trouble, obviously, and they're just gonna end their turn, maybe attack one of my other monsters with that 2700, and then my turn rolls around again. They're gonna activate their turn. So it's their turn, and say they want to attack it. I have Skyscraper 2, Hero City up on the field. They're gonna destroy it, right? They're gonna destroy it. Say they banish their what's the word I'm looking for? Banish their breakthrough skill from the graveyard and activate it again, then attack. I take 100 damage myself, and once I take that 100 damage and this card goes to the graveyard, I can pull out 2 of my move from play elemental hero cards and add them to my hand. And I'll more than likely have either a Poly or a Fusion Gate or something in my hand. So I'm just gonna Fusion Summon a second one. So in fact, when they destroy this card, typically I'm able to do a lot of things with it. In fact, I sometimes even want people to destroy it. Yeah, hell yeah, banish it if you want, or not banish it, but Mirror Force it. Go ahead, bring it on. Pop a couple of Zanny. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, that's my elemental hero deck. Let me know what you guys think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit your boy up. You guys got my line information, Snapchat, all that good stuff. Add your boy. It's lit. I promise you, my Snapchat is not as boring as you think it is. In fact, I am quite funny. Totally joking. But yeah, as always, guys, I repeat myself. Treat every day like a holiday and every meal like a feast. Y'all stay blessed, live your lives, and enjoy. I'm out.